Hey sweetheart, that's not a hairdryer, it's a Glock. The laughter rippled across the Phoenix gun range like gunpowder catching flame. Four young men in tactical tees stood clustered near the target lanes, their brand-new pistols gleaming and their egos louder than the pop of 9mm rounds. They weren't pros, just weekend warriors cosplaying as something dangerous. But the woman they mocked didn't laugh. She simply stood behind them, silent, observing. She looked like she didn't belong. Not because of what she wore, just jeans, dusty boots, a black jacket zipped halfway up, but because of how still she was. Like she'd been carved from stone and dropped in the middle of noise. Her eyes tracked their movements with surgical precision, not out of judgment but calculation. Noticing hand placement, finger tension, the way the smallest guy flinched every time he squeezed the trigger. Lane 6 opened. She moved without asking. Just brushed past them and knelt to set down a duffel that looked 10 years older than her. Worn leather. Cracked handle. The men snorted behind her. What's she got in there? Her knitting kit, one said. Maybe a perfume bottle. Can't wait to see her try to rack a slide, said another. But when she unzipped the bag, the room shifted. It wasn't dramatic, not yet, but there was something reverent in how she removed the firearm. An old SIG Sauer P226, its matte surface worn smooth by time and repetition. Not flashy. Not custom. Just lethal. She handled it like memory, like the weight of it told stories her mouth never would. She didn't introduce herself. Didn't explain. Just began loading the magazine with a rhythm that suggested muscle memory, not curiosity. The tall one with the goatee watched her. You military or something? She didn't answer. You don't look like a shooter, he added. Still nothing. You mute. She glanced up for the first time. Her voice was soft, flat, unthreatening. You aiming low and left. He blinked. What? You're gripping too hard with your right hand. Your grouping's drifting. Try relaxing your trigger finger. He looked at the paper target. She was right. Okay, who are you? He asked, half laughing. She didn't respond. Just slid the mag into place, chambered around, and stepped into the lane like she'd been there all her life. The first 3 shots were thunder. Fast. Clean. Followed by 2 more in a tight burst. When she reeled in the target, 5 holes sat perfectly within the bullseye. No spray. No flinch. The silence that followed was real. And then the scanner beeped. It was the young clerk behind the glass who did it, routine, he thought when he noticed her ID still on the bench. Just a standard scan. Everyone registered at the range had to pass the basic check. He'd done it 100 times that day. But this time something flashed red across the screen. Then came the voice. Synthetic. Cold. ID verified, clearance SAT 9. Code, Night Viper. Status reactivated. The room went still. A chair squeaked. Somewhere, a shell casing hit the floor like a coin in a church. One of the young men whispered, "What the hell's a Night Viper?" No one answered. The woman didn't look back. Didn't flinch. Just stared down range like she hadn't heard it. But inside her, something ancient stirred. The clerk behind the glass was on the phone now, muttering into a red handset he wasn't supposed to touch unless it was nuclear. The tall guy took a slow step forward. Miss? Is that real? She finally looked up. And the look she gave him wasn't angry or smug. It was something colder. Like a door had closed behind her and he was now on the wrong side. What did you do? He asked, voice cracking. I shot paper, she said flatly. That's all. But the system disagreed. The system had already pinged 3 buried servers. Somewhere in DC, a light went green. Somewhere in Nevada, a former colonel sat up in bed. A name that hadn't been spoken in years scrolled across a black terminal. Night Viper. The stories about her had never been official. She didn't exist. She wasn't trained. She was sculpted from broken ops, black cells, and choices no sane person could live with. The last time she pulled a trigger for them, 5 men disappeared in a country that denied their presence. The only proof was a still image, a figure slipping into a desert storm, the outline of a coiled viper tattoo beneath torn gear. And now she was at a civilian shooting range in Phoenix. Alone. And the system had reactivated her. She zipped her duffel closed. Hey, wait, are you being called back in? Asked one of the guys. The others had stepped back. Fear rising now, not curiosity. Lena looked at the floor. I was never really out. The tall one swallowed hard. You gonna kill someone? She slung the bag over her shoulder. Only if they send someone stupid enough to try first. She walked past them without looking again. Outside, the sun was brutal. Dry. Bright. Her boots kicked dust off the pavement as she moved toward the parking lot. But she already knew she wouldn't make it to her truck. Two black SUVs blocked her path. Doors opened. Men in civilian suits with military backs stepped out. The kind who didn't smile. The kind who knew who she was. One stepped forward. "Ms. Carver, we need you to come with us." "I'm not interested. This isn't optional." She looked at him. "It never is. That's the problem." The man tapped a code into his phone. Behind him, the rear window of the SUV rolled down. A face appeared, older, pale, breathing through a tube. Her stomach dropped. "Colonel Briggs," she said. His voice rasped through the speaker. "Lena, we burned your name. We buried your file. You said you'd never come back. I meant it. We didn't call you." She blinked. "What?" He leaned forward, eyes hard. "The system woke you. Not us. That override was locked. It was buried under 7 layers of failsafes. We don't even know how it activated." She stared at him, pulse rising. "Then who the hell did?" "We were hoping," he said slowly, "you could help us find out." The men stepped aside. The back door of the SUV opened. Lena Carver stood still for a full breath. Then she slid into the vehicle without another word, the dust already settling behind her. Inside, the SUV was cold. Clinical. A touchscreen blinked awake. On it, a map. Multiple red dots pulsed across Europe. "Asia. The U.S. coastline." The colonel's voice came again, softer. "Something's moving. Units we thought were gone. Codename, Ember Vale?" She narrowed her eyes. "That was dismantled. We shut them down in Jakarta. Apparently not all of them. They're active. And they've got a target." "What?" He hesitated. "You." She leaned back into the leather, eyes narrowed. Then, softly, like it hurt to admit, she said, "Then I was right to stay gone." The screen shifted again. Surveillance photos. Faces blurred. Some familiar. Some long thought dead. And one face, unmistakable, marked with a red ring. She whispered, "That can't be." The colonel said nothing. She closed her eyes. The past wasn't done with her. And now it had found her again. Night Viper had just been reactivated. The wheels hummed against the asphalt as the SUV sliced through the desert highway, sunlight slanting low and fierce across the windshield. Inside, Lena sat still, arms folded, her mind racing faster than the convoy escorting her. She hadn't spoken since the photos flashed across the touchscreen. Faces that should have been buried. People she'd buried. A past she'd exorcised with fire and silence. Now they had names again. Lives again. Somehow Ember Vale was breathing. She stared out the window, watching cactus and rock blur past. "You said they have a target," she murmured. Colonel Briggs' voice crackling from the center console exhaled. "They've hit 3 data nodes in the last month. Clean hits. No digital trace. No DNA. But they left something behind in each one. Something old." "What kind of old?" The screen flickered. A symbol appeared. A coiled serpent wrapped around an hourglass. Her breath caught. "They used that in Madrid," she whispered. "Only once. It was a warning." "They're not warning now," Briggs said grimly. "They're tracking. And they're hunting for something that hasn't existed on paper in 12 years. Me. You. And the others." Her blood turned cold. "There are no others." There was a pause. Then another image loaded. A woman, late 30s. Tactical vest. Scar under the left eye. Holding a rifle with the same grip Lena once used. A still frame from a body cam, half-burned. Alina Ramos. Lena shook her head. "She died in Baku. She disappeared in Baku. We assumed the worst. And now we think they turned her." Lena leaned forward, eyes locked on the screen. "That's impossible." Briggs didn't argue. Instead, he said, "They're calling her mirror." Lena closed her eyes. She remembered Alina's laugh. Her steady hands. The way she used to sing under her breath before missions. She remembered the promise they made to each other in a Turkish safe house at 2 a.m. that if one of them went dark, the other would end it. "Where was this footage taken?" she asked. "Outside Tallinn. 6 weeks ago. 2 Marines dead. 1 tech missing." "Missing?" Briggs hesitated. The tech had access to the deep registry. Old code. Blackout agent lists. Someone used his credentials to trigger your reactivation. Lena sat back, every nerve in her body prickling. It wasn't a glitch. It was intentional. Someone had called her back into the light to drag her into the dark. The SUV banked left and slowed. Ahead, nestled between canyons, was a compound masked as a civilian drone testing facility. A dozen security cameras tracked their movement. As they rolled up to the gate, a retinal scanner blinked, then opened the armored doors. Inside, it was cold steel and white light. Underground. Hidden. Briggs met her in person this time. thinner than she remembered, paler. Time had worn him down, but his eyes still held that unforgiving intelligence. She didn't salute. He didn't ask. This way. He led her down a corridor flanked by guards in unmarked gear. Every one of them clocked her silently, as if expecting her to disappear mid-step. In the briefing room, the lights dimmed. A holographic map hovered above the table. Red pings blinked in and out. 3 attacks, all surgical, all inside former cold cell regions. I thought we dismantled those facilities. We did, Briggs said. But not the data trails. Not the names. And now they have them? Some. Yours was top tier buried. Zeta 9. But once your ID was scanned at that range, it created a ripple. Someone was watching for that ripple. You're telling me they lured me out? They didn't need to. They just waited. She gritted her teeth. So what now? I go ghost again? Hide in another city? Wait for them to knock. No, he said and turned toward her. You go hunting. She stared at him. That's not who I am anymore. You sure about that? She clenched her jaw. I'm not your assassin. You were never mine. You were theirs. And now they're trying to reclaim what they lost. He slid a file across the table. Inside, locations, schedules, movement. They're planning something. Coordinated. Large scale. Multiple countries. They're not just looking to clean up the past, they're trying to replace it. With what? With a new order. No oversight. No morality. No failsafe. And they're using what we built to do it. Lena didn't answer. Her hands trembled slightly beneath the table, though she kept her face still. She remembered the last mission. The children they saved. The village they couldn't. The orders that came down from faceless voices, demanding silence, not rescue. That's why she left. She turned the page. A date. A time. A train scheduled to pass through a tunnel in northern Italy. On board, a black box containing retired SAT codes tied to old cold cell ops. Useless unless decrypted. Dangerous if combined with identities. Lena spoke without looking up. That train's a target. We think so. And you're sending me to stop them. No, Briggs said. We're asking if you'll go. She laughed. Just once. Bitter and quiet. You always knew how to frame an order. He looked away. You left. We let you. But there are still agents out there with your blood on their hands. And this is your shot to finish it. She stared at the file. Then at him. You have a team? We have a name. Voss. Ex-Russian. MI6 transfer before the collapse. She's been tracking the Ember cells since Prague. Reliable. Paranoid. But alive. Lena stood. Briggs stepped forward quietly. You don't have to do this, Lena. Yes, I do, she said. Because no one else will. He watched her go, her back straight, boots echoing down the corridor. For a moment, he looked like he wanted to call her back. But he didn't. In the prep room, she stripped down. Washed the desert from her skin. Put on the gear they left her, a lightweight tactical suit, matte black. Holster. Knife. Custom comms unit she hadn't seen since Munich. Her hands paused over the old SG Sour. She picked it up. Felt the weight. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out something else. A coil of cloth. Black. With a single symbol stitched on the inside. The serpent. She tied it around her forearm. Outside, a black chopper was already spinning up, waiting on the pad. She ducked inside. Voss was already there, lean, sharp, ice-colored eyes. She gave Lena a look. Didn't think they'd wake you? They didn't, Lena said. Someone else did. Voss handed her a file. Then we're all pawns again. No, Lena said, buckling in. This time, we're the threat. The chopper lifted into the sky, blades carving the night air as Phoenix disappeared behind them. Far away, in a dim office buried beneath an unnamed European city, a woman stared at a wall of screens. Her left eye had a thin scar beneath it. She wore gloves even indoors. Alina Ramos watched the feed from the Phoenix gun range. She smiled. Found you, she whispered. A voice crackled over the radio. She's airborne. Alina turned to a masked man beside her. Phase 2 begins. The man nodded. Across the city, power grids flickered. And somewhere below the streets, someone keyed in a password. Night Viper, located. Target locked. The train moved like a whisper through the Alps, cutting between rock and shadow beneath a twilight sky. It carried only a few passengers, some tourists, some businessmen, but in the seventh car, sealed by a biometric lock and monitored by silent drones, sat the black box. Inside it, Legacy cold cell decryption keys. To most, worthless code. But to the right enemy, it was the skeleton key to a buried world. Ops, identities, locations, Lena's past, and the secrets of everyone still hiding in the wake of it. High above, the chopper banked over jagged ridgelines. We've got a 10-minute window before they hit, Voss shouted over the headsets. Lena checked her gear. 2 mags. 1 knife. 1 small EMP pulse grenade. The old SG rested firm against her ribs, but her heart was heavier than the steel. She looked at Voss. You sure it's her? Voss's expression was unreadable. She's leading the assault team. 3-man cell. 1 sniper already positioned. Another jamming local comms. She's the 3rd. Lena stared out the side window. The mountains loomed like frozen giants. Alina was never a field leader, she said. Voss replied without turning. She is now. The chopper descended. The plan was quick and brutal. Fast rope onto the rear car, breach the target car before they did, secure the box, and get out. No backup. No second run. Just them. The moment her boots hit the roof of the train, everything changed. Wind tore at her body. The metal vibrated underfoot. She moved fast, Voss right behind her, rifles slung, silhouettes low. Below, in the cabins, faces passed behind glass, unaware of the war about to ignite above their heads. They reached the 7th car. Lena dropped to a knee, pulling the mag seal override from her belt. 30 seconds, Voss warned. Lena nodded. The lock hissed open. They slipped inside. It was dark. Cold. The box sat beneath a steel mesh, silent, deadly. Lena moved toward it. Then the lights shut off. A hiss of pressure. The side hatch exploded inward. Flash bang. White light. Lena dropped, rolling behind a column. Voss dove right, returning fire into the smoke. The enemy was inside. Shadows moved fast, precise. Lena fired twice, missed once, hit flesh the 2nd time. A scream. Then silence. 1 silhouette stood in the doorway, framed in smoke. A woman. Not masked. Not hiding. Alina Ramos. She looked older. Colder. Her eyes, once warm and sharp, were now distant, unreadable. But Lena would have recognized that stance anywhere. She wasn't aiming a weapon. She didn't have to. Lena rose slowly, hands still on the trigger. Alina tilted her head. Didn't think they'd send you. No one sent me. Alina almost smiled. That's what makes it perfect. Behind her, 2 men flanked the door, rifles raised. Stand down, Lena said. You don't have to do this. Alina's voice was soft. Yes. I do. The train shuddered as it exited the tunnel. Moonlight filled the car. I thought you were dead, Lena said. Baku, what happened? Alina stepped forward. They left me. You left me. Lena's hands trembled. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. You walked away. The pain in those words hit harder than the gunfire. You think Ember Vale saved you? Lena asked. They're using you. Alina's smile faded. They gave me purpose. You were always the weapon. I was always the one cleaning up your mess. I didn't ask for any of it. No. You just survived it. A pause. Then, you'll have to shoot me to stop this, Alina said. Lena's finger hovered over the trigger. I don't want to. Then you'll die here. Gunfire erupted behind them. Voss had flanked the corridor, taking out the first rifleman with a clean shot. Chaos. Lena ducked. Fired twice. The 2nd man dropped. Alina turned, moving toward the box, but Voss tackled her from the side. They crashed into the steel wall, fists flying, rage and betrayal tangled in every blow. Lena moved to help, but the train jerked. Alina broke free, vanished through the next car. Go! Voss shouted, bleeding from her brow. I'll secure the box. Lena ran. Through car after car, pushing past confused passengers, tracking the ghost of her former partner. Finally, on the roof again, under the stars. There, at the edge of the last car, stood Alina. Gun lowered. Wind whipping through her hair. You're not going to pull that trigger, Alina said, calm. Lena stepped forward. You don't know me anymore. I know you better than anyone. You knew who I was, Lena said. Not who I became. Silence. Then Alina said, they'll keep coming, Lena. Ember Vale is bigger than anything we ever saw. They've got roots in your command. Maybe even Briggs. Lena hesitated. You want to save what's left of us? Alina asked. Then you can't go back. You have to burn it all. And suddenly Lena knew this wasn't about the box. Not really. This was about erasing everything. The cold cell past. The Night Viper program. Everything they were forced to become. Alina took a slow step forward. She wasn't aiming anymore. Do it, she whispered. If there's still something left of the girl who pulled me out of Sarajevo, do it now. Lena's grip tightened. Tears blurred her vision. I never stopped looking, she said. Alina closed her eyes. The shot rang out, but it wasn't aimed at Alina. Behind her, a figure dropped, another cell member, silently closing in with a blade. Alina turned, stunned. Lena lowered the gun. That's your warning, she said. Alina stared at her, then jumped off the train into the night. Gone. Lena stood on the roof as the sun cracked the horizon. Voss emerged from the hatch below. We good? Lena didn't speak. Just watched the mountains roll by, her face hollow, the serpent tattoo on her arm catching the morning light like a brand from a life she couldn't escape. The box was secured. The train rolled on. But somewhere far below the Alps, Ember Vale was still watching. Waiting. And the world was not ready for what came next. The snow bit into her face as the alpine winds howled across the mountain pass. Lena crouched low behind the outcropping of rock, her fingers numb even through thermal gloves. Across the gorge, the train moved slow and steady through the tunnel mouth, its sleek metal frame a shadow in the moonlight. The satellite data was right, this was the target. Inside, somewhere between cargo holds and diplomatic crates, was the black box. The last piece of Ember Vale's plan. And the woman she once called sister was on that train. Voss's voice crackled in her earpiece. Thermals confirmed 6 guards on the roof, 4 in the engine. No sign of Ramos. She's there, Lena muttered. She wouldn't miss this. She moved. Quietly. Methodically. Her descent down the cliff face was as silent as snowfall. Every muscle remembered. Every nerve no longer dulled by time but sharpened by purpose. She'd spent years hiding from this version of herself, the cold, efficient operator. The ghost. But tonight, she needed the Viper. She leapt, boots crunching into snow just beside the track. The train slid past her like a beast. At the last second, she surged forward and latched onto the side ladder, swinging up and over. One roof guard spotted her. Not fast enough. A suppressed shot snapped the silence. He dropped. She didn't stop. Voss was in a support chopper above, watching everything from infrared. 3 more coming from the cargo car. Lena rolled, slipping behind a freight antenna. Her silencer hissed again. One fell forward, another backward. The third panicked, turned to run, bad choice. She lunged, slammed him down, and silenced him before he could scream. She moved toward the second car. It was sealed with a biometric lock, but the system was old. Her glove carried residual access from cold cell days, standard protocol they thought was buried. It blinked green. She stepped inside. Cold metal. Hum of power. The black box sat inside a pressurized case mounted to a shock-absorbent pedestal. She moved forward. I've got it, she whispered. Copy, Voss replied. We're 30 seconds from exfil window. Then the lights flickered. A red glow filled the car. And the voice she hadn't heard in a decade cut through her bones. Hello, Viper. It was Alina. She stood behind the case, half-shadowed, a pistol at her side but not raised. She wasn't here to shoot first. Not yet. She was here to talk. Or taunt. You always did like the direct route, Alina said. Straight through the front door. No masks. No theatrics. I came to stop you, Lena replied. Alina gave a soft smile. I doubt that. You came for answers. And maybe deep down you came because a part of you missed this. The hunt. The cause. Lena stepped closer, but not too close. I missed the truth. Not the blood. Truth? There is no truth, Lena. Only systems. Power. Those who use it and those who get used. We were the latter. I got tired of bleeding for ghosts. Ember Vale gave me purpose.